Some call these frequencies the holy tones. Others refer to these distinctive sounds by their proper name, the Solfeggio Frequencies. At the heart of Solfeggio Frequencies is the belief that the vibrational signature of certain sounds, ranging from 174 Hz to 963 Hz, can highly impact our mental, physical, and spiritual health. So let's take a closer look at this mysterious phenomenon. The ancient solfeggio scale, known as just intonation, is renowned for its use in the Gregorian chants, but its history can be traced back to biblical times. The 6-tone scale, and an additional 3 tones discovered since, is considered by many musicologists and scientists to have a positive effect on the mind and body. Back in the 11th century, a Benedictine monk named Guido di Arezzo introduced the musical scale we now know as the Solfeggio Frequencies, though modern research contests that the scale dates back much further. The monks used the original 6 solfeggio notes in their Gregorian chants, which we now know consist of the frequencies 396, 417, 528, 639, 741, and 852 Hz. Unfortunately, by the 16th century, the scale was lost, though the exact cause is unknown. Some say the solfeggio was abandoned for a new music scale. Others argue that it disappeared among Western Europe's Middle Ages political and religious turmoil, and there are even some who posit some more, conspiratorial theories, from biblical secrets to plots by the Roman Catholic Church. But why exactly is this important? Why should you care how musicians tune their work? It's important because many argue that we lost more than a simple musical scale when the solfeggio scale was replaced. The solfeggio scale is mathematically consistent with the patterns of our universe. Solfeggio frequencies are a set of 9 electromagnetic tones that are required to have the power to heal and raise consciousness. This ancient scale has far-reaching potential, from repairing emotional trauma and opening up spiritual consciousness to deepening our relationships and altering DNA. The atoms in our bodies, the molecules and atoms in inanimate objects, thoughts, and sounds, all things in our universe, are in motion, vibrating. Even the planet itself vibrates and resonates at its own frequency. The human ear can only hear a limited range of vibrations per second. In science, the number of vibrations per second is known as frequency, measured in hertz. The human ear is only capable of hearing sounds that vibrate at the frequency of 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. At the heart of solfeggio frequencies is the belief that the vibrational signature of certain sounds, ranging from 174 Hz to 963 Hz, can positively impact our mental, physical, and spiritual health. They form the basis of ancient sacred music traditions dating back to the 8th century, such as the Gregorian chants and Indian Sanskrit chants. The solfeggio frequencies commonly associated with the Gregorian chants are a form of monophonic song of the Roman Catholic faith, dating back to the 9th and 10th centuries. Solfeggio fundamental sounds were used in both Western Christianity and Eastern Indian religions, chanted by the Gregorian monks and in ancient Indian Sanskrit chants. Physician and researcher Dr. Joseph Pullio rediscovered solfeggio frequencies in the 1970s, bringing their benefits back into public awareness. In his research, he used mathematical numeral reduction to identify 6 measurable tones that bring the body back into balance and aid in healing. Dr. Joseph Pullio was inspired to use Pythagorean math to examine the Book of Numbers in the Old Testament Bible. He discovered that when looked at through the Pythagorean method of number reduction, the Old Testament's Book of Numbers contained a repeating pattern. Pythagoras was an ancient Greek mathematician. He's most famous for his Pythagorean theorem, which explains the relation between sides of a right triangle using the equation a² + b² = c². Not only was Pythagoras important to math, but he also had a tremendous impact on the ancient Greek philosophers, from Plato to Socrates. The Pythagorean method used by Dr. Pouliot requires one to add all of the digits of a larger number together. For instance, the number 18 would become 9. If the result is still a multi-digit number, the process is repeated. 184 is reduced to 13, which is reduced to 4. When Dr. Pouliot applied this method to chapter 7, starting with verse 12, he noticed a pattern developing with every 6th verse. Verses 12, 18, 24, 30, and so on repeat sequence 396. Verse 13, 19, 25, 31, and so on repeated 417. 396 and 417 are the first 2 frequencies in the solfeggio, and Dr. Pouliot uncovered a further 3 frequencies by repeating this process, which now forms an extension to the scale. So in the modern day, we have the original ancient 6 frequencies and a further modern 3. Dr. Pouliot unearthed 3 new frequencies in the scale during his research. 174 Hz, associated with pain reduction and anesthetic properties. 285 Hz, associated with cellular repair, body regeneration, and better immunity. 963 Hz, associated with spiritually awakening and connecting to the oneness of the universe. If we continue to apply the Pythagorean method to the solfeggio frequencies, we find that each of them adds up to 3, 6, or 9. And there are 2 frequencies in the original scale that include the numbers 3, 6, and 9. These solfeggio frequencies were believed to profoundly affect the conscious and subconscious mind in order to stimulate healing and promote vitality. Thanks to Pouliot's work and the renewed interest, many scientists have since unearthed more evidence supporting the positive effects that these frequencies have on the human body. Based on the research of musicologist Professor Willie Appel, it's likely the scale was first introduced by Guido di Arezzo, a Benedictine monk. Monks of this order of the Catholic Church followed the rule of Saint Benedict. The earliest example of the scale was his musical rendition of the hymn to Saint John the Baptist, or Utque and Laxis, based on an 8th century poem attributed to another monk named Paulus Diaconus. These frequencies are also said to have healing attributes. 396 Hz. The first is thought to help liberate us from guilt and fear, which is arguably one of the biggest obstacles we face. 417 Hz. The second helps with the undoing of situations and facilitating change in our lives. It's said to alleviate the conscious and subconscious mind from past traumatic experiences. 528 Hz. The third is perhaps the most famous of the frequencies because of its reputation for creating profound transformations and miracles. It's even been linked to the repair of human DNA, the most basic building blocks of our bodies and minds. 639 Hz. The fourth is said to improve our connection and relationships with the people around us. This includes healing strained relationships and creating new ones. 741 Hz. The fifth is connected to expression and solutions, helping us open up and share our gifts with the world more fully. 852 Hz. The sixth and final of the original notes returns us to the spiritual order, improving our access to the spiritual or sublime. Mother Earth's natural heartbeat rhythm is the frequency of 7.83 Hz, also known as the Schumann resonance. A 7.83 Hz frequency is an alpha-theta brainwave frequency in the human brain. Alpha-theta brainwave frequency is a relaxed, dreamy, sleepy state that's also when cell regeneration and healing happen. It's no surprise that people nowadays, especially in bigger cities, are unbalanced, irritated, reactive, and angry, and diseases are rising in astronomical numbers. The electromagnetic fields generated by power supply systems, telecommunications, appliances, computers, and other technology produced by humans are extremely powerful, and in some cases have been associated with increased incidences of cancer, heart disease, depression, and other diseases. Exposure to strong electromagnetic fields in residential areas and in certain occupations has been documented as significantly increasing the incidence or risk of some diseases. Certain groups of people, such as the elderly, children, pregnant women, and the weak have been found to be more sensitive or susceptible to adverse effects from these fields than the rest of the population. The Solfeggio frequencies have positive effects because they resonate in harmony with the Schumann resonance of 8 Hz. Musically speaking, the frequencies are derived by beginning at 8 Hz and working up the musical scale octave until the C note is vibrating at the 256 Hz frequency, and the A note is vibrating at 432 Hz. When music is tuned to harmonize with this frequency, it's known as scientific tuning. It's been proven by scientific experiments that by tuning into 7.83 Hz, the planet's own magnetic frequency, people experience benefits like enhanced learning, memory, body rejuvenation, balance, improved stress tolerance, anti-jet lag, anti-mind control, and grounding. On the other hand, experiments were done where Schumann resonance, the exposure of 7.83 Hz frequency, was removed from the individual's environment. The subjects reported migraine headaches, emotional distress, and other health problems. This shows how important it is to be in tune with the Earth's magnetic frequency.
Well, sound healing is basically the use of sound to bring us back into an aligned state in which our body can take care of itself. Our own natural immune system can kick in correctly, and we have research showing how this happens, so that we now become naturally stronger. I like to say we become in tune. Well, you could do either way depending upon your delta frequency tuning fork.
Researchers in the 1970s found that when exposed to solfeggio tones, the DNA in cells could better absorb ultraviolet light without damage. In another study, researchers exposed people to sounds at 432 Hz and later at 440 Hz. Participants had lower blood pressure and breathing rates and reported feeling more satisfied when listening to this frequency. Sound healing can also be a natural anesthetic, as it can help relieve pain. One study found that sounds at 432 Hz are beneficial in reducing dental anxiety and relieving pain during dental surgery. There's a palpable peace when we're absorbed in quiet, and a different kind of rejuvenation when we hear the wind in the trees. There's a cacophony first, with the woodwinds and strings, horns and timpani making quite a ruckus. But when they tune their instruments precisely, the sound that washes over you like a wave can bring peace and excitement that surpasses some of the most invigorating practices on Earth, like skydiving or dropping 45 feet into a hidden cave. The body works in much the same way. If a single instrument plays its own tune and is not in harmony with the rest of the body, disease is more likely to happen. As sound therapist Dr. John Beaulieu, ND, PhD, explains, according to Dr. Leonard Horowitz,
there's only one number in the entire numbering system, whereby the electromagnetic color spectrum is the same as the sound system. That one number is 528.
In 2018, Akimoto and Yamaguchi conducted a study to examine the effect of 528 Hz music on the endocrine system and the autonomic nervous system, using objective and subjective measures, based on salivary biomarkers, electrocardiogram, and a mood state questionnaire. 9 healthy participants, 1 man and 8 women, aged 26 to 37 years, listened to 528 Hz and standard 440 Hz music on separate days. Investigators measured salivary biomarkers of stress, cortisol, chromogranin A, and oxytocin before and after exposure to music, and continuously recorded the activity of the autonomic nervous system. The Profile of Mood State, 2nd edition, was also administered as a subjective indicator of stress. In the 528 Hz condition, mean cortisol levels significantly decreased, chromogranin A tended to decrease, and oxytocin significantly increased after music exposure. However, no significant change was observed in any salivary biomarkers in the 440 Hz condition. The ratio of low-frequency to high-frequency autonomic nervous system activity significantly decreased after exposure to both types of music. The coefficient of variation of RR intervals also significantly decreased. but only after exposure to 528 Hz music. Tension anxiety and total mood disturbance scores were significantly reduced after exposure to 528 Hz music, while there was no significant difference following 440 Hz music. These results suggest that the influence of music on the autonomic nervous system and endocrine system varies depending on the frequency of the music, and furthermore, that 528 Hz music has an especially strong stress-reducing effect, even following only 5 minutes of exposure. Researchers found that stress levels were reduced following 5 minutes of exposure to 528 Hz music, whereas this was not the case for 440 Hz music. They also found that mean levels of cortisol decreased and mean levels of oxytocin increased after listening to 528 Hz music. This study also proves that music and sound can be used to heal PTSD by its observation of solfeggio frequencies on the nervous system. The next frequency, 285 Hz, goes even further in its treatment of the body. 285 Hz is associated with cellular repair, helping the body's tissue and organs to regenerate. Cell repair is also useful to the skin, assisting in the healing of burns, lacerations, and other damage. This cellular repair is innately linked to the immune system, where the health of B and T cells is vitally important for fighting off viruses and diseases. The 285 Hz tone improves our health and overall well-being through the rejuvenation of the body. The knock-on effect is better immunity, higher energy levels, and all-around better well-being. The lowest tone, 174 Hz, also affects us on the lowest plane, namely that of our physical body and energy. It's noted as a natural anesthetic, relieving pain both physically and energetically, while giving our organs a greater sense of security and comfort. The last of the solfeggio frequencies is 963 Hz, which takes us to the highest plane of consciousness. This frequency connects us with the perfection of the universe, allowing us to tap into the oneness that permeates everything that is and will be. This frequency relates to the crown chakra, which is also linked to the pineal gland, which is the central nervous system. Through this, we can access high-level intuition, telepathy, psychic vision, and an intimate connection with God. The original 6 solfeggio frequencies and their said benefits are 396 Hz, associated with liberating guilt and fear; 417 Hz, associated with undoing situations and facilitating change; 528 Hz, associated with transformation and miracles, DNA repair; 639 Hz, associated with connecting and relationships; 741 Hz, associated with expression and solutions; 852 Hz, associated with returning to spiritual order. So musical frequency is simply another form of vibration. We know that music affects the mind and body. Indeed, that is why music has always been a fundamental part of human existence. From early tribal drumming to modern complex orchestral compositions, the music reflects and resonates with life and promotes well-being. There are certain frequencies within the music that have specific effects on the mind, and subsequently, the body. This is why many music therapy and healing programs are available in modern society. It's no coincidence that the Benedictine monks of the 11th century tuned their chants to the solfeggio scale. These were their prayers to a higher power, and they chose tones that resonated with their spiritual energy. The solfeggio scale has the ability to influence and transform well-being. It can help reduce emotional and physical ills and create a deeper spiritual connection with the universe. Sound healing helps to clear energetic blockages and thus facilitates healing on a physical and mental level. Some of the benefits of sound therapy include lower stress levels, fewer mood swings, lower blood pressure, lower cholesterol, and improved sleep. Over the years, sound healing has also been used to treat a number of conditions, including anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, autism, and dementia. Because of its calming and relaxing effects, solfeggio music is highly beneficial for use during meditation. It can be challenging to achieve a meditative mind state, but using these frequencies as a guide can make it easier. You can listen to solfeggio frequencies or use them with binaural beats during a sound bath meditation. Binaural beats are 2 different tones played in each ear, which tricks the brain into hearing a third, blended tone. This blended tone then encourages the brain to enter a meditative